Hi, Intertillit people. So to begin class discussion on Milton's Paradise Lost, I want to go back and just review some of the facts about his life, some of the aspects of it. Notice how, the whole way I approach literature is that you can't ignore the author, nor the experiences of their life, nor the positions they take, the influences that affect their worldview. So Milton was, his tutor was a passionate Protestant, a Puritan that wanted to purify the Protestant Church of the Anglican Communion in the UK. So he became a pamphleteer for the Republican movement. He fueled his rhetoric and his philosophical defense, his reasoning, fueled the revolt against Charles I, the son of King James, who authorized the King James Version of the Bible. Charles I was beheaded by Parliament. He dismissed Parliament. He tried to exercise a more absolute rule. If you know anything about English history, they have a long tradition before the 1600s of kings having limited power. And anyway, so that didn't go over well with the populace. And Milton was a supporter of Oliver Cromwell and the Republic. When Cromwell died and the Puritan parliamentarian Republican movement started fragmenting and the monarchy was restored, Milton was basically a criminal. His life was forfeit to the new government. He was a traitor in every sense of the word. There's no question about that, to the throne of England. Influential and powerful men intervened on his behalf, and he was pardoned by King James II. But by 1652, when the parliamentary movement, Cromwell died, and the Republican movement started fragmenting and coming undone, unraveled, Milton was already blind. He was much older. He had used most of his inheritance supporting the parliamentarian cause. And so he was old, blind, and poor. And then when the monarchy was restored in 1660, he's also hiding, running for his life. And it is in this context that, if you will, I would go so far as to say the Holy Spirit birthed in him the desire to write Paradise Lost and to recount and leave this recount as his legacy to his contemporaries, justifying God's ways to men and dealing with this whole question of authority within the framework of God's ultimate authority on earth and in heaven. So I want you to remember this. You should already be noting some parallels between Milton and Dante. So think about, if we were to say what works have influenced the Western mindset about the Christian view of heaven and hell, good and evil, the works that would come to mind would be Dante's Divine Comedy and Marlowe's Dr. Faustus and John Milton's Paradise Lost. So these works that we're just excerpting, we're just tasting, we're just getting a feeling for their main themes and their main statements and the positions these authors are taking, or if you will, the revelations they have into human nature and into the workings of God. And in Milton's case, we're going to look how he actually called on God he called on the Holy Spirit to inspire him and to lead his pen and give him revelation, illuminate his mind on what actually happened in Genesis with the fall of man. So Milton died in 1674. remember that the theme of this book is to justify the ways of God with men.